Before the world gave him titles, he was just Kwame, a weary young man with a crooked smile and nothing but ambition stitched into the seams of his second-hand jeans. His store, if you could call it that, was a wooden pole in the ground, with two horizontal sticks nailed across it like a makeshift scarecrow. Shirts fluttered like prayer flags under Accra's scorching sun. He didn't just sell clothes, he sold possibility.
Don't call me, oh, don't call me. Original Lacoste, boss shirt, Zara jeans, this way,
he had called. But deep down, his own dreams were woven tighter than the clothes he hugged. He didn't just want to sell clothes, he wanted to create them. A boutique, his name on the glass, his designs on the racks. But dreams stitched in poverty fray easily. He had no father, no mother, just a picture of a woman he barely remembered and an uncle who once said, "Sewing won't feed you, go and find real money." Kwame learned how to cut fabric with care and how to ignore the laughter of fellow hawkers who mocked his small notebook of boutique sketches.
Boutique where you not even get kiosks? You dey joke,
a fellow hawker, Atongo, said to him.
Charlie, the only boutique you go own be the one inside your dreams, so.
Another trader added, but Kwame just smiled. He had already survived too many storms to fear the wind. Kwame had only one meal on most days because he was very determined to save most of his profit. Every evening after the markets closed, while others hurried to watch football or drink beer under flickering bulbs, Kwame sat alone beneath the overpass, counting his profits. There were days of plenty and days he made very little. He believed that no amount was too small to save. He believed that every peso saved was a step closer to his dreams. 5 cedis became 50. 50 turned into 500. Over 2 years, through sweat and sunstroke, Kwame saved 23,000 cedis, enough to rent a small shop near the Tudu bus station. Then came Joe, a friend of a friend, a man with a wristwatch thicker than his accent. He sold dreams in PowerPoint presentations. He said,
"Do you know T-Net? You can ask your guy Ike about it. He started his last month and his money will be ready some few weeks from now. This investment scheme, my guy, you go double your money in 2 months. That boutique go come fast."
Joe spoke with certainty. His Instagram was flooded with pictures at Movenpick, Range Rovers, mansions, ships abroad, champagne branches, among others. Kwame hesitated, but he thought of tailoring mannequins and neon signs with his name boldly inscribed on them, so he transferred the entire 23,000 to Joe. 3 weeks passed, then 4, then 6. By the 8th week, Joe's WhatsApp profile picture disappeared. Joe was gone. Kwame collapsed in his kiosk. The silence in his head was so loud. The market noises faded into white. For more context, what Kwame felt in that moment can be likened to the feeling you get when you touch your pocket in public and realize your phone is gone. Kwame didn't cry that day. No, he cried 2 nights later when he saw a child wearing one of his favorite shirts, one he had to sell at a price lower than the cost price just so he could afford to eat. Some men quit after a fall, but Kwame was forged in losses. He picked up his hangers, repressed his clothes and hit the streets again. He became a ghost of the market, always moving, never complaining. He sold clothes in traffic, he did his usual tailoring services, he learned basic English phrases just to attract more buyers. Not even the rain could stop his hustle. It took another year to save again. 10,000 cedis this time. Not enough to rent, but just enough for a loan top-up. A boutique still glimmered in his mind. One Tuesday morning, he marched to Sterling Bank. folder in hand, business plan, spreadsheets, income logs scribbled in red ink. He took advantage of YouTube to get himself ready. The receptionist smiled politely. He waited 2 hours. Then he met Mr. Johnny, an old banker with soft eyes. Mr. Johnny flipped through Kwame's plan, nodded thoughtfully and said, "Your passion is clear. Come back on Friday. I'll see what I can do." Kwame was so excited that he could barely sleep that night. Hope bloomed. He ironed his only white shirt and practiced his speech in front of a mirror every morning and evening from Tuesday through Thursday. But Friday came with a cruel twist. Mr. Johnny had been transferred to the Sunyani branch that evening. Now in his place sat Madame Bine, stern, immovable, her eyes scanning Kwame like he was a forged check. She tapped her acrylic nails and said coldly, "No collateral, no track record, no formal education. We cannot help." Kwame's fingers trembled. He opened his mouth to speak, but the shock and disappointment left his mind blank. For a few seconds, nothing came out of his mouth. He sat frozen as though his soul had left his body. After about 2 minutes, he let out a sigh, folded his documents slowly, and walked out. The banking hall had never felt colder. After the bank, something cracked inside Kwame. Not loud, but hollow. He returned to his corner under the telecom pole. Same stack of second-hand jeans, same sweat-trend shirt, same mocking laughs from those who thought dreams were only for the educated.
Boutique boy.
Atongo teased.
Still chasing mirage.
Another cheddar added. Kwame stopped answering to them. His spirits dialed, but his hands stayed busy. One cloudy Thursday, just when the sky looked like it would spill sadness, a familiar customer returned. Her name was Mami Chira, well-dressed, soft-spoken, a regular who always bought with exact change. She held a tailored blazer Kwame had altered months ago. "You remember this?" She smiled. "I wore it to a friend's gallery lunch. They thought it was foreign made." Kwame smiled. Mami Chira leaned closer, eyes thoughtful. "Do you dream of more?" she asked. Kwame blinked, then he nodded, unsure whether to trust his inner voice. "I know someone. He heads African operations for a global brand. They are recruiting stylists, people with real eye. Let me call him," Mami Chira said. And just like that, Kwame's eyes lit up. A spark. Small, gentle, almost unreal. Kwame and Mami Chira stayed in touch for about a week. Then, silence. Many days passed, no words from Mami Chira. Hey, God, when? Maybe, Kwame thought to himself. He returned to his grind. The sun felt hotter. The noise of the market felt emptier. Mami Chira was gone. Had she changed her mind? Had it all been another hope stitched too loosely? 3 weeks passed. Kwame was now working from a different corner. New road, new faces, but the same grind. He moved because the old place reminded him of too many losses, and his acquaintances never skipped an opportunity to pull his legs. Boutique man, they would tease. Some even called him Kwame the Dreamer. He had stopped hoping. The blazer woman, Mami Chira, was now a faded echo. Until Kwame, a voice called out. Kwame turned. It was her. Breathless, searching, hair pulled back, face flushed with urgency. I've been looking for you for days. You changed locations. Kwame could barely speak. His hands trembled. Mommy explained. My phone was stolen. Your number was saved as Jane's guy. I had no other way to find you. I just hoped you were still selling around here. She handed him a printed flyer. The man I told you about, his name is Mr. Tete. He's here from New York for just 1 week. He agreed to meet you tomorrow. Kwame blinked. The world spun, not dizzying like failure, but rising like possibility. He pressed the flyer to his chest like scripture. The showroom sat on the 10th floor of a mirrored building. Glass, steel, and the kind of luxury Kwame only glimpsed through shop windows. He arrived early. Suits borrowed from Mamichire's younger brother. Shoes 2 sizes too big, but polished. Mr. Tete stood by a rack of color-blocked suits. Bald, sharp-dressed, and somehow warmer than expected. They shook hands.
So, you see star where others see scraps?
Mr. Tete said, whilst inspecting Kwame's display of folded shirts and repurposed trousers. Kwame explained how each piece had a story. The faded jeans inspired by Accra's red clay roads. The floral top because every struggle deserves a color. Mr. Tete smiled.
You don't just sell clothes, you translate experience.
They talked for hours. Ideas flew. Fabrics were touched. Sketches drawn on napkins. By day's end, Mr. Tete leaned back and said,
There's a fire in you. Not everyone survives street hawking and keeps their souls stitched together. I'm not offering you a job,
he added.
I'm offering you a future. Full ride, training, mentorship, and creative control over an upcoming clothing line.
Kwame's mouth fell open. No words came, only tears. Kwame didn't just enter the fashion world. He rewrote his place in it. 6 months in Paris, a year in Milan, then back to Accra. Head of a streetwear innovation for one of the world's top fashion brands. He learned tailoring at levels he never dreamed. He helped design collections that walked global runways, but he never forgot. He still stitched like a hawker, fast, focused, and intuitive. He still saw fashion in folds of a tired woman's wrapper, in the resilience of a market woman, in the joy of a child tying a mother's headscarf. His name was not on a boutique door like he dreamed, but on the inside of a clothing line that carried his vision to the world. And that was more than enough. More than his dream of owning a boutique. One Sunday afternoon, Kwame passed through the corner where it all began. Second-hand clothes still hung like flags from wooden poles. A boy not much younger than he once was hollered prices at passerby. Kwame stopped, hands in his pockets, a faint smile on his face.
Hey, you look familiar.
A voice called out. He turned. A grey-bearded hawker squinted.
Didn't you used to hustle here?
It was Atongo, one of the voices that mocked his dream of owning a boutique. Kwame nodded, eyes misted. Yes, I chased the zebra, and look where it led me, Kwame replied.
Hey, boutique man. Wow. That's nice. Me, I always knew you were going to blow. You'd be very hard guy.
Atongo said sheepishly. Kwame Kwame smiled and walked away, not with regret, but with quiet triumph, because though he never owned a boutique, he had built a runway stitched from survival, spirit, and style. Have you ever chased a dream that didn't turn out the way you planned? Kwame's story reminds us that sometimes the path we walk reshapes the very dream we thought we wanted. What part of this tale inspired you? Comment below with your thoughts and tell me what proverb I should bring to life next. Subscribe to Echo Tales, where every story stitches purpose into your night.